Recording live from the Northeast Georgia Business RadioX studio. This is Northeast Georgia Business Radio. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Northeast Georgia Business Radio. I'm your host, Tom Sheldon, and we're coming to you live from the beautiful Empower College and Career Center of Jackson County. I have with me a very special guest, of course a great guest, but someone I have been hearing about for months now, and honestly, everyone says a lot of good stuff about her. So we had to have her in. We wore her down, and finally she came in, thank goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Amy Whipple of Rise Shine Mastermind. Amy, welcome to the Northeast studio.
Thank you so much for
having me. Was that an intro or what?
Yes, that was quite an intro. Oh my goodness.
Welcome.
I'm so excited to be here, and just thanks so much for doing all the work that you're doing for local businesses and putting this podcast together. So I'm excited to be here today.
Amplifying the voice of business in the Northeast area.
Yes, that is something that I am passionate about. I'm passionate about business owners, entrepreneurs, and especially women in business.
I hear you. Now, we're going to get into Rise and Shine Mastermind here in a second, but now you're based more or less out of Athens, the Athens-Clarke area.
Correct, yes. But it is a digital community.
It spreads.
So I've had some people from Ohio, I've had some people from different areas. So it does not have to be Athens specific because our mastermind meets over Zoom.
All over Zoom, okay.
Yeah.
So in a few months you'll be international.
Haven't hit that yet.
You'll have subtitles in different foreign languages. And
haven't hit that yet.
And we'll be sitting around saying, I knew Amy when she was just in Athens.
That's right. A lot of the women that are part of the Rise and Shine Mastermind, they are from Athens and the surrounding county.
I got you. Mm-hmm. I got you. Well, hey, we cover Northeast Georgia, which includes Athens, Clarke.
Yeah.
And I love Athens. I've gotten in a lot of trouble. I've had a lot of good times in Athens. We'll just leave it at that. All right. Rise and Shine Mastermind. But I want to know a little bit about the Amy Whipple. Because, full disclosure, and we joke around a little bit about it, I've heard so many good things about you from some notable people.
Okay.
Not just your husband or, your best friend, but people that I would hold in high regard.
Yes.
You are married, right?
Yes, I
said
am.
husband.
Yes.
I just, sorry about that.
We've been married for 16 years.
But, people that better be saying good things, right? No, but seriously, I've heard good things from people who I hold in relatively high regard about you. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I want to know a little bit about Amy Whipple.
Okay. Well, Amy Whipple, I would say I'm passionate about just connecting and being in the community. So whether that's an entrepreneur conference, whether that's being part of a chamber, I've always just figured out, listen to the stories of entrepreneurs and business owners, and I've just always been a connector. But I have done a lot of process work for companies, so I will go into companies and help them write out their processes, organize their operations, and automate. So that's how I definitely have made my way around Athens, is just working with a lot of business owners.
How long have you been doing all that? All your adult life?
No. We've been here for 11 years. So I started shortly after we moved here, just working with businesses.
Oh,
so,
I got you. So about 10 years.
Yeah. So listening each week, I always try to hear a different story, meet with an entrepreneur, connect. And I think those connections have just compiled over time.
Oh, they will. Especially, honestly, if people like you.
Yeah. And just serving, being generous. I feel like I come to the table and I serve a lot of people in a generous way.
It's a big circle. Mm-hmm. It will come back to you.
Yes.
I'm doing a circle motion with my fingers right now that no one can see, but Amy and I can see it. That's all that matters, right? Now, Rise and Shine Mastermind. Did you start that 10 years ago? You didn't start that 10 years ago. That's relatively new within reason.
Yeah, this started in December. So
almost a year.
Mm-hmm, so I call myself a startup and process consultant. And so I've always had this startup side that I've helped businesses kind of get started. But it got to the point that there were a lot of people saying, just call Amy Whipple. And I was taking calls from people that I didn't know, and I was resourcing them around their business. And I thought to myself, I think there's something here. There's people that are contacting me. What if I pilot a group of 6 women, and we just I take them through a lot of the lessons that I do with successful businesses to help them grow and scale, and I start to do that to the solopreneur. And so really that's how it started, is people were contacting me, and I was resourcing about 8 to 15 hours a week. And I thought, well, what if I put these people into a group to grow and connect together, and we'll just see where it goes. And so that's how it has evolved, is we wake up at 5:20 in the morning. People do a 6-week boot camp, and then if they want to be part of the community, then they can jump into the weekly community.
You just said 5:20. I'm going to need a minute. Actually, I knew that was coming because I've heard from some of your members. What do you call them?
Yeah. Rise and Shine.
Members?
Yep, members.
Your members. Mm-hmm. So a 6-week boot camp, you shake them down?
That's right. That's either going to keep them in the community, or they are going to totally
Run screaming.
That's right. It's either going to weed them or it's going to keep them.
Gotcha.
And I think oftentimes when we challenge ourselves to do hard things, that's where I feel like a lot of the clarity and the traction and the growth happens for their business.
Oh, absolutely.
But it really starts with them having to challenge themselves. Because of course I'm going to get people that say, I can't do that. I'm not a morning person. But I'm telling you, I have everybody's full attention at that time. There is nowhere else you're at, and you're fully focused on working on your business during that time.
It is a Zoom call, though.
It's a Zoom call, yes.
You're hidden back in the corner of the house or something like that.
Yeah, that is a thing. People have to often go on their patio or be in their basement, or they have to find a quiet spot because they're going to wake their house up. But
oh, yeah.
It's a thing. We have to figure out where we're going to.
Oh, it must be a thing. It's actually impressive.
Yeah.
It really is.
It is impressive to see. I've had some women that have started their businesses and quit their full-time jobs. I've had people just gain tremendous clarity because they've taken that time to be accountable to their goals. They've taken the time to be in community with one another, and also that they just have to do the homework that comes with it. So not only are you getting up at 5:20, but you also have to do assignments along the way.
You give them assignments.
They have weekly assignments.
Wow.
Weekly check-in
you
calls.
You did say boot camp.
It is a boot camp, and
I believe it.
I'm no nonsense. So
I so believe that.
Are you in? Am I selling you on this?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm all in. Here's the thing. I'm a morning person.
Uh-huh.
Everyone laughs when I say that. Mentally, I am 100% early in the morning. No joke. Mm-hmm. Physically, I struggle, especially with the voice.
Yeah.
I really struggle. That's why I shy away from the 7 a.m. networking groups and all that stuff, because it's hard.
Yes.
Physically, it is hard. I'm old and broken down now. I've put myself through it a few times. Mentally, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, we'll do the Zoom call, and I'll just put up a funny face or something.
That's right. Some people do stay.
You won't actually see. Actually, I look fine. Not that I look fine at any time, but no, seriously, I just physically getting to the computer would probably be an issue.
Yeah, and some
Long
people
story.
do.
TMI there. Sorry, folks.
No, some people do have a black screen up. They're not going to. But we all know no one is getting ready at that time in the morning, and we're just coming together for community. We're coming together to say, hey, because you have to track your goals.
Right.
So for the 6 weeks, we call what they're called as Rise goals. And so you have a relationship goal, which is you either have a home front goal that you're working on relationship-wise, or a business relationship goal. And then you have your intentional habits, which those can be, are you trying to hit Bible reads, or are you trying to hit the gym? What are the intentional habits that you're going to track for those 6 weeks? And then you have to track for the S, a strategic goal and an exciting goal. So you have to come up with 4 goals, and you have a scorecard for all 6 weeks that you're going to be tracking your progress, and the group will see. I pull up that scorecard on the screen.
Wow.
So you see your progress.
Here comes the accountability, folks.
It is full accountability.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow. And so I guess you're right. The ones that don't go running and screaming, they're in.
Mm-hmm. They are.
How about that? I want to know about all the goals, but I don't think we have enough time in one podcast for all that.
Well, what are some goals you're working on? Do you have some business goals? That's what I often ask, is what are your goals?
Okay, my business goals are to meet as many people as I can in the Northeast area. It's a huge footprint.
Okay.
And I do that because Amy, sitting behind a microphone and doing what we're doing right now, this is not work. Uh-huh. All right, this is fun. The networking is work, if you can call it that. I enjoy it.
Okay. So around your relationship goal, I would be asking you, what is your goal per week? Are you going to be in front of 10 entrepreneurs with coffee? Are you going to be in one community event and 3 one-on-ones? So basically, what would you be tracking around the relationship goal in my group, if you were in my group?
I'm around hundreds of people.
Hundreds of people.
Well, I go to sometimes 2 or 3 a day, different events a day. Well, you've got 3, 4 chambers.
Okay.
You've always got business alliances, closed networking groups, which I don't do a lot with. But I'm always being invited to something.
So you're hitting like 30 in-person events a week?
A week? No. In a month? Absolutely.
Okay, so what's a weekly goal? Because I'm tracking from a weekly standpoint. If you're in my
Easily
group.
do 3 a week. Easily.
3 a week.
Not
Okay.
even thinking.
So then I might challenge you and say, can we put that up to 6?
Yeah, if they're available.
Uh-huh.
Well, you can't go to an event if it doesn't exist.
But you could have a one-on-one coffee event. Could you count that?
I wouldn't count that as a networking event, but yes.
Okay. So you could aim for 2
But
or
I
3.
do those too. When they pop up and when they're available.
Yeah. So I think networking really isn't as stuck for you because you seem like you're very strong at it. So I might look at something else.
I consider myself good at it. I honestly do. I'm not bragging. I've been doing it for a long time. I like to talk. That helps.
Okay.
I don't sit in the corner.
So intentional daily habits. Do you have any of those that you need to work on, that you would need to track?
Not really. Not really. I mean, I'm lifting 3 days a week. I'm on an elliptical the other 2.
Okay.
I drink too much beer.
Okay.
Other than that, hey, I'm an old man. What can I say?
So you could cut down on that.
Well, I have, though, because I'm an old man.
Yeah. So really it's all about if you measure it, it matters. And a lot of times people in business, they want to make growth. They want to see growth.
Right.
But then when we actually look at their habits and look at their goals, they're not being accountable to those daily habits to reach those goals. And so a lot of this teaches you, are you being disciplined? You know, if you say you need to work on, if you want to grow your social media platform, are you batch scheduling that? Are you spending, 3 hours a week scheduling? Like, what are those things that you're actually doing to make your social media grow? And so that's kind of what I look at and challenge business owners.
Well, you said the word discipline.
Discipline.
Well, you said disciplined, but you said the word discipline. To me, that's the whole shooting match right there.
100%.
Honestly. Mm-hmm. I'm the offspring of a retired naval drill sergeant. If that says anything.
So you have it. The other thing is diluted focus. So I think you're very focused in what you're doing. I produce a podcast weekly for my listeners. Like, you know what you're doing. But I have a lot of businesses that diluted focus is going to get them diluted results. And they're trying to dabble in 20 different things and they're making zero traction.
I see that with people who come in here to talk about their businesses. Some, they may have been in business for a few months, even a few years. They're hanging on. Even if you ask them, what is it you do, you get an answer that's everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, I have no idea what you do.
And I call that the vomit entrepreneur because
That's
they
a good
just
one.
it just
stealing
keeps
that, by the way.
coming out, and the people in my mastermind get called that. I'm like, you have to, and that's one thing that we work on is, what is your elevator pitch? If you're on an elevator for 1 minute and you can tell people what you do, can they replicate it to someone else? Because when you say 50 things, they're so confused.
Lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. We're talking the same language here. I enjoy networking. I do.
That's great.
Years ago, in a former life, grew up in another industry, sold the business, 2.5 years ago, whatever. I once said, I often said, if I could get paid to talk and network, I'd have it made. And boom, here we are.
That's huge.
Is that insane? That is true, though. That is so true.
Wow.
Several bumps along the way, but...
And I think if you ask me that same question, I would say I feel called to be a community builder, and that what I'm going after is building a community of women.
I want this studio, in all seriousness, to be a hub of networking.
Awesome.
With Zoom calls and things, you can meet people and never physically meet them. Mm-hmm. With our podcast, someone hears your voice so many times, they feel like they know you. They've never met you, but they know you. I get that. Strangers will hear my voice. Hey, I listened to your show. No joke.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's a good radio voice. I'm surprised you haven't been doing this for 20-some years.
I lost a bet early on in life and had to do something else.
Okay.
And then there's this guy named Mike Salmond. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He and I started talking years ago, and boom, here I am.
Love it.
The black hole opened.
So where are you going for this next quarter? Quarter 4 is about to start. Do you have your goals written out?
Oh, my goals stay the same.
Continuing to network.
Meet people, bring them into the studio, let them experience it. We shouldn't be talking about me, though. We should be talking about you. And build this studio.
Okay.
I'm bragging. This studio in 6-7 months has done equal numbers, if not more, than some studios that are 2 years old.
That's huge. And I think Athens is just a great
it is.
It's an amazing place. It's an amazing place for businesses. So sky's the limit.
I agree totally. We have to get back to you, though.
Go ahead.
Wow. See, folks, see what she did, folks? See, she's good. She's really good. All right. You work with a lot of ladies.
Yes.
The woman entrepreneur, I think you call them.
Yep.
What are some of the biggest challenges they're facing in 2023?
Ooh, some of the biggest challenges. That's a good question. Well, I think a lot of it is we talk about 3 things. In order to have a successful business, you need to have talent, and you need to have the mentorship, and you need to have the partnership. And a lot of times when I'm looking at these women and the businesses they have, there's usually a hole within one of them. So they don't have mentors that they're in community with, or they're not partnering with community partners, strategic partners, or I don't really see it with the talent, because usually at that point when they're building a business, they have proven the talent, right? People have they've asked for what it is that they have, but it's really teaching the women how to grow their strategic partners and how to really have those mentors and be learning, have that growth mindset. Because if you come in with a fixed mindset, it's not going to take you very far in business or in my mastermind.
When you say mentors, are you talking about on a personal level, a business level?
When I'm talking of
I guess that could be anybody.
Yeah, like are they working with a business coach? Are they working with someone who has been doing what they want to do much longer than they have? So that's what I'm talking about, is like, who are those people that are doing what you love, and you're able to shadow them, you're able to connect with them, you're able to stalk their Facebook, research their work, see what books they're reading, and really just get into their brains is what I teach a lot of women to do, because they've never thought about that. So
right.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be alone.
No. And they're not in community. A lot of them are just out of their house. They've been entrepreneuring well, and they forget that there's this whole community aspect.
The mentorship, what was the other one?
Partnership.
The partnership, building that network.
Yes. Because a lot of times, one of the lessons that I teach is there's already whales that exist in the community. So you need to be the little remora that comes up to the whale, kind of cleans that whale, or that whale feeds you business. And I think oftentimes women are starting to try to grow their business from the ground up, and there are plenty of whales that they can partner with that are going to feed them business, feed them connections. And I just think they forget to look for that and to find those whales that already exist and have the people that they want to be doing business with.
Referral partners.
Correct. Yep.
I get you.
It's all about that.
And that goes back to that lowest common denominator. Being able to have that 30-second, 1-minute testimonial, commercial, elevator speech, whatever you want to call it.
Yes. Clarity. So finding the clarity in their messaging and what it is that they do.
That is super important. Super important.
So see, we do all of that.
You do a lot.
In those 6 weeks.
I'm to the point I can't even think and even talk right. Wow. The words traction, you just said clarity, but traction and clarity.
That's right.
We touched on clarity. Traction what? People knowing you, noticing you, giving a darn that you're even there?
I think with a lot of, and I have women in my mastermind that have larger businesses too. So it's not all solopreneurs, but I think often the traction is lost because they're not in a normal business setting where someone is checking up on them, right? In previous businesses, they've had a manager, they've had an owner, they've had someone saying, are you doing your work? Are you getting this done? You said you want to do this. Show me the results. And you can start to lose traction in your own business because you just there's no one checking in to make sure you did that.
Right.
And I think the traction comes from when I tell everybody they have to connect with one person each week, and I assign the person they're connecting with. This happens to me a lot, but on a Wednesday when we get on the call and someone's like, what did you say you were going to do this week? And I was like, I was going to record these lessons, and I haven't done it yet. But what is the thing that I do when I get off that call with that accountability partner is I usually do the thing that I was supposed to do because someone asked me if I did it.
Right.
And so that traction, I think, comes through just having people say, hey, you said you were going to be on 5 podcasts this quarter. How come you're only on 1? It keeps people moving and accountable.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It goes back to the network of people.
Yeah.
Which is super important. You don't have to do it yourself.
Yeah. And like you being a great networker, that's going to take you far. And that, I think a lot of people skip that basic step of they just want to do it all digital. But there's so much to be said about being in community like you are, networking face to face, making those connections.
I will upset people who I actually like and think highly of. I'm not a fan of just the digital, I won't say that word, send an email every day and hope someone responds. And I'm probably rubbing a few people the wrong way with that. But face-to-face, you do business with people you like, you know, you trust. Mm-hmm. Hard to do business with an email.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's horrible.
No, it goes far. And so I
you
think,
somewhat teach that.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's an easy way out.
And a lot of what we do too is we're in community with each other because there are a lot of events that I pick out of, hey, let's all go support this grand opening, or hey, this is a speaker that's speaking out today. Let's make this a Rise event where women come together. The goal is hopefully, gosh, in 2 months, I would love to have an in-person event. But I think there is really good power in, even though the community is digital, we do come together. So.
Okay. I think you ought to have it in person.
Yeah.
Event. I'll MC it for you. It'll be great.
I am not an MC, so that is one thing.
We can so do that.
Yes. Well, it's in the works and it's in the planning. I just haven't
I don't doubt
secured
that.
the date.
Okay, I'm going to hold you accountable. Next week, I'm not going to send you an email. Yeah, I'll send you an email. I build my schedule off of emails because that way it's in front of me, right?
Yeah.
And there's your schedule. But as far as marketing, I just don't do it.
Hey, we all have our strengths and weaknesses.
Spam folders. I think we've touched on this. I think we've named it. The mastermind is for who?
The mastermind is for women entrepreneurs.
So I'm not allowed.
No, but I just completed.
I would be great comic relief. I promise you that.
Listen to this. I was getting some men reaching out, and I just completed a digital option. So if people say they don't want to get up early, they can complete the 6 weeks digital, meaning that they can check in with me each week and not be part of the community if they are a guy. So, because some people are not going to get up early, and I found that. So that's where I recorded all of the lessons and all of the homework and kind of made templates. So if someone wants to self go through it to see where they're at, they now can do that.
So this is about to go international.
Yeah, it needs a little more beta
steps.
testing. It needs a little more beta testing on the digital side, but it's there.
No, I don't doubt that.
But yes, women who, like I said, they just need to gain clarity. They need to gain traction. And I have those avatars. They're just getting started and they don't know where to start or where to go with resources. I have the women who have a great idea and now they're looking for more community. And then I also have some of those businesses that are scaling and they want to hit more of their processes and kind of make a lot more of their goals around that. So I said I was just going to resource the brand new entrepreneur, but it has been a community of women at different stages that has come together.
I was going to ask you what the sweet spot was, but you just answered that.
Yeah.
Not just the startup.
Not just the startup.
But that was the original idea.
That was the original idea. I'm going to come and resource women entrepreneurs, and I thought it would be all startup, but it's really not. Because when you feel that pain and you're starting to grow and scale, you are kind of right back in it of what got me here is not going to get me to where I need to go. So I need to start looking at things and doing some work and gaining traction and clarity in a different way.
As that network starts to grow, it's going to take all kinds.
Yeah.
It's going to take the startup person. It's going to take the one who's been in business 3 years. It grows.
Yes. And I think, too, what's cool is because I've been resourcing larger businesses for so long that a lot of them, they are using a lot of the templates that I have made, the onboarding templates, the job descriptions. They're getting all those things done in the mastermind while the startup, their goals are looking a little different. So I do feel like, but everybody's setting their own goals on what they need to gain traction and clarity on.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. We've been going for 25 odd minutes. Doesn't seem that long.
No.
Amy, what did we miss before we get out? We're going to give the website here in just a moment, but what did we miss? We covered a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I think, like you do, when you're in business, when you're around other businesses, you really do grow stronger when you are in community. And so I think, my challenge is that if you are a business owner and you're not in community and you're not networking on a regular basis, really look at that and think about that, because it can, like it's done for you, it can lead to just a lot of business.
Oh, and it can. Good business.
Good business.
Strong business. Mm-hmm. And that's really what you want at the end of the day. What's that website?
RiseAndShineMastermind.com.
RiseAndShineMastermind.com.
Yes.
And you're on Facebook.
Just under Amy Whipple.
Just you.
Mm-hmm. And then I do have on Instagram, Rise_Mastermind. You can find me there.
Gotcha.
Or Amy in Athens.
Amy in Athens.
Amy.in.
You're the only Amy in Athens. That's amazing.
That's right.
How did you get I don't want to know. No, I'm just kidding. Amy, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate all the work that you're doing here.
I appreciate the kind words. This was a highly anticipated show. It really was.
Thank you.
Now they're playing my music. That means I have to wrap up.
Great.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Hey, another great show. Check Amy out. RiseAndShineMastermind.com. I'm your host, Tom Sheldon. We'll talk to you soon.